Hello everyone. My name is Oluwase Fadri. I want to develop a robot that is going to take action according to these variables. Now you can see here down below, I have my database here. So what I've done is that I always try to input this data on the dashboard. So let me show you what happens. Now let's assume that no data is here. You can see the price converter down, there is no information. Now these are the data. How do I get this data? This data is as a result of the movement of the price market. So you can see here the price was 78.18. You see it moved up to 78.8 on that line. Then the next line inside from 78.8 it came down to 78.11. The next line it went from 78.11 to 78.83. Then from 78.83 to 77.49, 77.49 to 78.85, and so on. So the next low will be here and the next high, so that is the way it will be continually. So that's how I got this data. So I'm taking up this data now, I'm copying them, I'm putting them on my price converter. So when I put them here, based on this, it shows me the sequence for a single line. So instead of the movement up and down, this template is able to show me. So you can see here 78.18 is the first line, so which I have here. You see, so the next one is 78.8, it came here. The next one is 78.11. So it can either be this line or this line. So from the result of this now, it's shown that this is the correct line for the movement of this template. So assuming is the other way, then it would have been this. So that's why I'm copying this. So I'm going to copy this now. Sorry. So I'm going to copy this information and I'm going to paste it at the top here. You can see here we have the extra gap, initial gap, at actual. So here I'm going to paste this in here. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to paste it as an figure, not the template. So I'm going to right click and paste special. So I'm going to paste special as figures, you see. So I have it there now. So based on this data, on this actual line, based on this data, I've been able to predict all the other information here. So assuming I don't have the data there, let's see what happens. You can see, so all the information of the robot of the EA will be based on those data that is being inputted on it. So that's exactly what I wanted to do. So what this actually means without the data is this is an extra gap and this initial gap. So these are my conditions, my variables, and this also will be affected by these positions, these prices. So all these gaps, all these prices, all this information will be determined by whatever happens in this data. So what happens here is this is the I. So this means of all these data, this is a sequence of the highest figure of the data. The low means this is the lowest figure of the data in sequence. The buy means this is my predicted position for a buy. So what time do I want the market to buy? And what am I going to use? I'm going to use the variable of the low to the gaps to determine my buy price. And I'm going to use a variable of my high and the gap for my sell positions. So all I want is that the robot, the EA, should be able to get this information quickly and automatically take action according to the buy or the sell mode. So you can see now, according to this, there is no information here at all. So let me now paste back that data. So once I paste back that data, automatically it changes everything. So automatically, you see, it has inputted all the datas there. So that is what this picture is showing me. So you can see here we have the actual. So the yellow line shows the actual movement of the market according to what the actual movement of the market. The I means the highest position as the trend is moving. So this I, so far as at now, this is the highest price. The highest price can still move higher like that in the course of the month. We don't know. The green is the lowest. So you can see here the price was low here, it was low here. It became to come lower, 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 and now this is the lowest for now. So the low can still come down, we don't know, but automatically as those data is being inputted, it adjusts itself. So then what this is our buy position. So you can see here our buy position was high at the beginning, it came down, it now became low. And also the sell was low before and it went high. So the condition of this report will be that when the buy is higher than the sell, the buy automatically becomes a sell. So when the buy point is higher than the sell point, the buy automatically turns to a sell until the buy crosses the sell point, which is the equilibrium. So you can see here, this is the equilibrium point where the buy price crosses over the sell price. So immediately the buy price crosses over the sell price, then the buy becomes the true buy position and the sell becomes the true sell positions. So as much as they've not crossed each other, that the buy is still higher than the sell, then the buy will be a sell and the sell will be a buy. So that is the variable out of the crossover point. But once the crossover point, then the buy becomes the actual buy and the sell becomes, the blue line becomes the selling point. So that is the variable. And also another thing is that once it hits the first point of action, it activates a sell and continues to activate newer cells at various gap positions up till and above every new on the last high. So according to this rule now, let's now evaluate this movement. The market started at this point. It was going. So because it didn't touch this position, there was no action. It didn't touch this position, there was no action. So it was just floating. Now it came to this point and touched this point, this line. So what we are saying is that immediately it touched this line, this point of contact becomes a sell because this buy line has not yet crossed the sell line. So because the buy line has not yet crossed the sell line, this point becomes a sell at this point automatically. It will be selling until they cross over. So when they cross over, then it now becomes a buy. Now, the logic of the design is this. As you have seen here, it is a sell. The sell will be the one active here. The market came down here. It is now at this point that the market has crossed each other and the real position is now coming up. So because the real position is now coming up now, the first point of action of the market after the crossover will likely be the movement of the market for the rest of the month. At least an average of 70% accuracy from my projection. So what I expect the market to do is that after this have changed direction and they are now in their proper positioning, then the robot will begin to take more bids from the first entrant. Once the condition says that once they cross each other, then the robot will now take more bids from this side upwards than from the other side downwards. So anytime the market is on this line to the buy price, because it's coming from below, so anytime the market is from here to the buy price, it takes more bids and goes on and on until it gets to the blue line, which is the selling point. So when it gets to the selling point, it becomes to take sell, but the selling may be lesser than the rate of the buying, or at a lower lot size than the rate of the selling. But because this is the first point to attract it to activate after the crossover, then it's going to take more bids from this line. So as much as the month continues like that, this will now be the true action of the market. So the bids will be activated. The first sell will be activated here, and future sales will be activated at early with higher lot sizes as much as possible. Same thing when the market comes down again and touches this purple line, it will start the first buy and will continue to buy until it gets to this green line. When it gets to the green line again and goes, if it comes down again, it continues like that until it goes back up again. So that will be the condition of the robot. Now let me show you. So far, this is the month of December, the second week of December actually, you know, so it's not really the full December. So these are the updates so far. You can see here this AUD Japan Yen, this AUD USD. You can see the movement, the actual price. You can see before they cross the line, see the projection, and after they cross the line, you can see that this one is coming from the top after they cross the line. So this one is coming from the top as a seller. So this one is showing that, look, this month I'm likely to be a seller rather than a buyer. But all the way, I'll still be taking both bids from both direction. As at today that I'm taking this position, you can see it's coming from the sell point because it's at the seller point. So the next move will be for it to come down. So when it comes down to this level, there would have been cells already activated on this line, and those cells will now activate and come down until it touches this buy, and future buys will be activating from this position. So same thing here, you can see euro, like for this euro AUD, I did 3 positions, which is 3 different scenarios based on 3 different gaps. So look at the first scenario. You can see that the first scenario, the buy and the sell have not yet crossed each other, so they are still, apart from each other. The second scenario, you can see they've crossed each other not long. At the 1, 2, 3, 4th move, they've crossed each other. And this is the last scenario. You see, the last scenario has shown that they've actually crossed each other for some time, So those are the 3 scenarios, the same data, but just different extra gaps and initial gaps. And that's what changed all the 3 variables of Euro AUD. So look at others as well. Euro GBP, you see the market, you see the movement, Euro JPY, Euro USD. So that's just the basic concept of this robot. Take a sell from this blue line, take a buy from this purple line, and if they've not crossed each other, then the reversal will be the case as the market moves. So this yellow line is the actual market movement for the course in the course of the month, and that is what will now determine what action to take when it crosses the line, whether to buy or to sell at every point in time. Thank you very much. I'll really be happy if you can get me this robot, this array perfected, and work for it to work accurately and automatically. And also, it will be inbuilt that in case the market wants to go to a loss, it closes itself at the neck of it, sets itself at a loss, a position of 0, so that it doesn't go into loss. But when it's coming back, it will not be able to recover back, at every point in time. So instead of it to go for long-term losses, once the market makes a profit and is about to return back to losses, especially at the end, like this system is able to identify when the market is reverting back. So at the point when the market is reverting back, it closes all the buys and activates sells fully. And when the sell too is activating back, is crossing over, it closes the sells and begins with the buy. So at each end of trend of each movement, the market begins to lock up and closes itself up and reverts back as the market is moving, as the prices of the market is moving. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Cheers. Bye.